guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that has been requested and talked about a lot through my comments on my YouTube videos, and it's me working for Benefit. So I have been working for Benefit for about a year and 4 or 5 months, I think it's been. So today I'm going to tell you all about my job with Benefit, the recruitment, the starter kit, the allocations, when new products come out, discounts. So I'll start with the recruitment. So I actually wasn't going to go for the job. It was Blake who said to me, just go for it. You never know unless you try. So how I found that there was a job going was, I was just walking through my Debenhams. I live in Middlesbrough, so I was just walking through Debenhams and I had a little sign on the counter saying that they're recruiting, what day to come back, and everyone has to meet there, and if you get through to the next stage then you have to be wearing all black. So obviously you just go in all black to begin with, just in case. So I went there, and a few days later, I think it was about 5 days later, I think it was, I went to Debenhams, and then the lady said to me, go to Starbucks, they're all waiting in Starbucks for the interview. So I went over to Starbucks and I sat and I was waiting for about 20 minutes. I wasn't really waiting that long considering how many people obviously were auditioning for it. And that's when you had your first interview, and then you had to get through that stage to get onto the next stage. And that interview was just them asking, like, give examples of when you've done like kind of like problem solving and the interests and stuff. So obviously I told them about YouTube, and I told about you guys, and I told them about my blog and everything like that. And obviously Benefit are really big for bloggers, so I think that kind of did help me in a little way, although I'm not recommending starting a YouTube or blog just for the sake of getting a Benefit job. So yeah, obviously I got through that stage, and then the next stage we had to come back in an hour's time, and we had to meet in, there's like a little office upstairs from Primark. So we went into that office, and then they showed us how to do just a basic minimal kind of makeup look, what kind of steps to be taken with the customers, how to lay everything out, and obviously what to say to the customers about the products and all that kind of jazz. So it was URebel that we used, obviously they're real, Professional, I think it was Hoola, and maybe a blusher or something like that as well. But I know it was definitely URebel because obviously we couldn't colour match people if we weren't trained. So then we did a little bit of learning about traffic stopping, and I don't know if you know what traffic stopping is. You've probably experienced it a lot in makeup counters kind of thing. And what it basically is, if a customer is going past your counter, rather looking at your counter or just literally walking past, might not even be looking at your counter or anything makeup wise. And if someone's walking past, you can just turn around and say to them, hiya, have you heard of Benefit Cosmetics before? See what their replies, and then say to them, come and have a sit down and I'll show you exactly what it's all about. Just kind of stuff like that really. So we had to practice traffic stopping in front of like everybody else that was also trying to get the job as well. At this point, we still didn't know where the job was going to be, what store it was going to be. We didn't know how many jobs were available, whether it was one or more, and we didn't know how many hours the jobs was actually as well. Because of that, it was just like any person for themselves. Everyone was lovely though. It wasn't like, no one saw each other as competition, like we all helped each other out. And the Benefit trainers that were there, they even said to us, it's not a competition between you girls, help each other out. Because obviously when you're working on a counter, you work as a team, not an individual. So that was really nice, because then no one was thinking, you're my enemy, I need to get you out of here so that I can get the job kind of thing. And everyone was really friendly. So then obviously after that they separated us off. So a small group, about 4 or 5 people, went to Debenhams, and then the rest of us, which was about 12 to 14, 16 of us, all went to House Fraser, which is obviously where I work now. And the House Fraser counter in Middlesbrough is a big, massive, long counter. It stretches like through, it's like the middle of the ground floor, and it stretches all the way around from accessories, handbags, all the way around to makeup. So it was a really big counter, so a lot of us could fit around it. And what we basically had to do was go and traffic stop people and get people to come inside. It was on a Wednesday, and it was dead, and it was so hard to get people to sit down. So the Benefit girls said to us, out of respect, if we don't believe this job is for you, then we will just come over and tap you on your shoulder and ask you to leave, in a nice kind of way. And that kind of just made the pressure like, whew. So you would kind of like had to go and get that person, that customer, to come sit down, do the makeover, and then they didn't have to buy anything, although it was a bonus if they did. But didn't have to buy anything, you just need to sit them down, do that makeover on them, just so they could see how you apply the makeup, how you talk to the customers, how you get on with them kind of thing. And obviously throughout the time, I think I only did 3 people, but throughout the time, obviously, people started getting tapped on the shoulders and asked to leave, so I got less and less and less and less. And I remember at one point it had been a long time since I got somebody to sit down, and there was nobody in the shop. It was absolutely dead. It was near closing, and I didn't know what else to do. So I was like, I'm not losing just because I can't find somebody. So I was going up and down all the floors trying to find somebody, and there was no one there. And then when I came back, I realised that like everyone stopped and they were just waiting for me to come back. I said to her, I was determined to get somebody else, but there's no one in the shop. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we know that there's nobody else in, so there's nothing else you can do. So you want to come back and we'll go back to that office and we'll have a talk. So, I mean, it was really hard to get people to come in. We were even going outside and like pairing up as a team. So say if there was 2 young ladies coming towards us, then we'd like I'd team up with another girl and we'd go and try and get them 2 ladies, and we'd both try and get them to sit down with us instead of one person going and the other person had to find somebody else. We had teamed up, and that was really good. We got people in like that, but like it was crazy, and we were running around all outside Middlesbrough trying to find people and getting people in. I remember at one point I actually said to somebody, like a traffic stopped them and obviously said what you're supposed to say, like, have you heard of Benefit and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, if I'm honest with you, no, but I haven't really got much time. And I just said to them, if I'm completely honest with you as well, I'm applying for the job, and if I don't get people to sit down, then I'll get tapped or get told to leave. And Benefit said we were fine to do that. Like, if you can get somebody in, then you do it whatever way you want. It's all about the individual, it's all about you, which is what Benefit's really good about. It's about you as an individual, not them as a brand, and you have to be like the brand. They want you to be you, but working for their brand, if that makes sense. So if you can get somebody to come in and sit down, then that's perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be the Benefit way of getting them to come sit down. If you've got somebody to sit down, you've got someone to sit down. It doesn't make a difference how you've done it. Unless you've been nasty, then that doesn't count. I went back to the office. They said to me that I'll hear from them soon if I've got the job. And I said to them, like, where's the job and like how many hours and all that kind of stuff. And they didn't really tell me much, to be honest. So I didn't know whether I thought I was going to be in Debenhams, because that's where obviously the recruiting sign was. So I thought it would have been Debenhams. I didn't think I'd be in House of Fraser. Obviously I was happy either way. So then I think it was a good couple of days later that they got in touch with me. And I remember I was at Farm Foods and I was so like desperate to get the phone call, because I really wanted to do 16 hours. That's what I wanted to do. And leave Farm Foods. I didn't have to work at Farm Foods anymore, so I had my phone in my pocket at Farm Foods, because they knew obviously I was waiting to get a call back as well, so they were fine with it. So then I got a phone call asking to go back for another interview, and I think that was at Starbucks again, I think. Yeah, it was at Starbucks again, because I remember Blake dropping me off for it. So I went to that interview, and then they said to me that they'd be in touch, and then I had to go to a House of Fraser store approval interview, and then that was when I found out. After that was when I found out that I got the job. So it was like the Starbucks interview to begin with, then you go to that, you get through that, then you go to the office, wearing all black, to the little room, and then you teach her all the stuff, and then you go to the shop floor, and then rather you get tapped on the shoulder to leave or you stay, and then you go home after that, and then you get called back for another interview in Starbucks. It could be anywhere depending obviously where your Benefit store is, but Starbucks is where we were. If you got through that stage, then you had to get store approval by House of Fraser. So that's how you got the job. So it did sound like a really long process, but I know, for instance, if they haven't got a lot of jobs going, then I think they only do 1 interview with you. I'm not too sure. I know this girl that we got for Christmas temp, Lauren, she only got 1 interview and then got store approval, and it was kind of like a 2-in-1 interview, like store approval and the Benefit girl was there at the same time. So I think it depends what's going on in your area. With ours, there was a lot of jobs going, so it was just easier for them to just get loads of people and then obviously give the jobs, because there was also jobs in Sunderland and places like that as well. So obviously once you've got the job, you have to get training, and you can't actually, if you're going to be a permanent member of Benefit, you can't actually work anything until you've done training. So the training consists of 3 full days, and you learn all about the makeup, all about the skincare and all that kind of stuff. We had a little beauty skill workout book that you filled in along the way, and you got to keep as well, so it's really good to look back on, especially if you don't really know much about Benefit to begin with. Your training is in different different place as well. It's not actually in the shop that you are going to be working in necessarily. So for instance, my training 3 days, I think 2 were in Darlington and then the other one was in Sunderland because I couldn't actually make the other Darlington day. I was at uni. So the other one was in Sunderland, and that was a lot more hands-on kind of on the counter than it was training. So obviously once you get the job, you do get a starter kit, and in your starter kit you get the How to Look the Best at Everything foundation kit. So obviously it depends what shade you'll be, whether you get light, medium or deep or dark, I think it is. You also get the Big Beautiful Eyes, you get a full size They're Real, you get a Browsings in whatever shade that you are, you get a Browsings as well, you get a Hoola. Yeah, I think that's everything, because obviously in your How to Look the Best at Everything kit you do get your primer, your foundation, your concealer and your powder foundation as well, so that's like all that kind of stuff in one. And then obviously in this one you get another concealer and also 3 eyeshadows too. So you get all them goodies in the starter kit. And you probably know that I've mentioned a lot about allocation. So for your allocation, it depends how many hours and how many days you do to how much allocation you get. So for instance, if you just work 1 day with benefits, so if say you're just a Saturday girl, then you get £100 twice a year to spend on benefits and makeup. And if you work 2 days a week like what I do 10 hours a week at benefits, so I do 2 shifts. So if you work 2 days then you get £150 twice a year. If you're full time then you get £200 twice a year, and I believe if you're account manager you get £250 twice a year, I believe. I do think it's only about £50 more than full time, so it's not that much of a difference considering you probably get maybe like 2, maybe 3 products that are pushed out of that £50. You get the allocation in March and in September, so I've just had one. It'll be in my last video, which was a haul, so I'll link that down below for you. So basically what you do with your allocation is you get a little code, just kind of like a discount code that you'd get when you're online shopping, same kind of thing as that. You get a little code in the post, and then you go on the benefit website and then you put everything in your basket up to £150 and then put the code in and it takes £150 off it. I've always ended up spending like a couple of pound over, so last time I think I was £6 over, and the time before that I think I was £3 over, because sometimes it's worth putting a couple of pound towards it and then you're getting your full £150 worth of stuff. Like for instance, this time round my stuff came up to £145, so I ended up getting this Therese Man little brow spoolie, and this is only £10, so obviously I got the £5 off it and then only paid £5 odd towards it myself. So as for new products that come out, we do get them for free. So for instance, I've recently got Roller Lash and I've also recently got Puff Off as well. Depends how big the launch is. For instance, Roller Lash was a AAA launch, which benefit is like the biggest launch that you can do, like They're Real kind of thing. And I think this is only an A launch, so this Puff Off wasn't as big. But for instance, when we came out with the Benny lip balms, so like the Benny Balm, the Posy Balm, Cha Cha Balm and the Lolly Balm, we didn't get any of them because it was only a very, very small launch. But for things that are big launches like these, like we went for training for Roller Lash, then things like these we'd get them for free. Depending on how big the launch is, sometimes you go for training in it. So if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll see my pictures of when I went to the Roller Lash launch. You should be able to scroll down my Instagram, it won't be too far down on it, but I'll leave my Instagram name below. I think it's just Luce Stevenson, but I'll leave it below just in case it has like an X on the end or something like that. But my Instagram I think is always below anyway. As for discount, which is what I've had a lot of questions about, I don't get things for free. Yes, I get my allocation, but that is for things, because when you work for benefit, whenever you're on the counter, you have to wear all benefit things. You can't wear anything that isn't benefit. So when you're getting your allocation, it's for you to wear on the counter. Obviously you can wear them outside of work as well, but if you run out of that thing, you can't just turn around and say to them, oh, I ran out of my foundation, can you give me another one please? It doesn't work like that. They say no, you should wait for your allocation or you should buy one yourself. So it doesn't work as good as that. Like that'd be a stupid thing to do, because otherwise people would just be using benefit stuff all the time and getting things for free and the brand won't be making any money. So discount wise, when you work for House of Fraser, you get, when you've been working there for, I think it's 6 months, because I remember waiting and it was such a long wait, it must be 6 months, and you get a House of Fraser discount card. It's like a credit card, and what this gives you is 20% off all the clothes in House of Fraser and all that kind of stuff. So anything that isn't makeup and perfume, you get 20% off, and anything that is makeup and perfume, you get 15% off. If there is any kind of like discount on the stuff. So say for instance, if Benefit's on 10% off, we rarely ever are, but if we're on 10% off, then I'd get 25% off, because it'd be that and my discount on my staff card. Although I work for Benefit, I don't actually get any extra discount than what anybody else who works in House of Fraser gets. So everybody that works in House of Fraser can get a staff discount card, and everybody else in House of Fraser gets 15% off makeup and fragrance and 20% off clothes. Sometimes the clothes people, I know for instance one girl that I was talking to, she gets 50% off her clothes because she works on the clothes counter. But for Benefit, we don't get any extra discount. We get the exact same as everybody else. So if you work for House of Fraser, you'll get the exact same discount that I get. The only thing that we get different is obviously my allocation and when new products come out. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I actually don't think I have anything else to add. If you do want to ask any questions, and please leave some questions below. It can be about Benefit stuff or it can be about anything in general. I was thinking about doing a question and answer, but I don't know whether you have any questions for me. I don't know. I was scared in case I asked you and then no one give me any questions. But you do have any questions, it doesn't have to be Benefit related, it can be related to anything. Then leave some questions below. I do get quite a bit of them, and I'll probably do a question and answer because I feel like you don't really know me that much. The only thing that I'd recommend when going to your interview is to do your research, so know about Benefit's products. Not obviously everything, you don't need to know all the ingredients and stuff, but know that Hoola's #1 selling bronzer, They're Real's #1 selling mascara, Browsing's is the #1 selling brow product, all that kind of stuff. And also know about the history of Benefit, because they will ask you that. So they'll ask you how Benefit came out, so obviously still it originated in San Francisco, and do your research on that. That's what I did, and I found out how they came up with the name and all that kind of stuff. It's all over the internet, it's on the Benefit website anyway, so they're kind of giving you the answers. You just need to be prepared for the interview. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've actually enjoyed just sitting down talking to you. I know it's going to be a long video, but I didn't want to miss anything out. So like I said, if you've got any questions, please do leave them below, and I hope to see you next Sunday for my next video. And I hope you're all really well, and yeah, I hope you subscribe, and I hope you like this video, and I hope that this answered some of the questions that you had. So thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you next week. Bye guys.